So I'll be looking at preamble, product, potential, paradigm, packaging, and how we can participate. Those are the things I'll be talking about today. So I have a preamble, the product, the potentials, the paradigm. The paradigm basically talking about new things I think Nigeria should be looking at actually, as far as export is concerned, and how we can do it well. How we can do it well. Because when you think of product, most of the time people think of the fact that they have to be the exporter, they have to be the manufacturer, they have to be the salesperson, they have to be the literally taking up all the jobs. You understand? Now, look at this. Look at the reason why we need to take export seriously. And by export, I mean non-oil export. I mean non-oil export. This is the Nigerian export from 2017 to 2019. And this chart is basically showing you that, look, Nigeria in 2019, we did about 54 billion, 8 billion on exports, 86%. As of last year, 86% of the export done, according to MBS. These are from MBS, source is MBS. According to MBS, we just put it in the pictorial infograph. But according to MBS, we are still in danger. Now, looking at this chart, how will you now imagine? You now imagine the reason why we really must do something. So I want you to see, if you are just coming and want to go into export, see you're going into export beyond making money. You make money, no doubt. Dollar is a lot better now. I mean, over 400. You make money, but more importantly than making money, as also your own contribution to rescuing this nation. Because if you take export more seriously, we'll have enough effects in the system, and then we won't have to have the issue we are having right now. And I will show you the issue very, very shortly. This is unprecedented in the history of mankind, at least in the last century, in which you have oil price going below zero. It has gone up now. It has gone up now. But this was unprecedented, that people were willing to give the oil and pay you. They want to sell the oil. They are willing to pay you, not for you to pay them. As in, they are ready to sell. This is interesting. But this is also important for us because, look, if Nigeria does not do something now, I'm not sure if we will ever do anything because it's not been this bad. So if we don't do something now, there's no way we'll do something again. And the reason why we're having this seminar also is to empower individuals to begin to look at the opportunities available in this space and how they can take advantage of those opportunities. Do you know why oil price went down? Look at the reason why. These red dots are different oil vessels in different parts of the world. Around that same period that oil price went to negative, oil vessels are different parts of the world. Oil vessels in different parts of the world. Can you imagine? They are stationary, no buyer, no buyer, no buyer. They've exhausted the storage tanks. They are now storing it on vessels. I was discussing with one of these, a particular expert in the sector, and he was saying that they will keep producing even at a lower volume, but they can't shut down the platform because the cost of putting it up is high. So they would rather give it out for free rather than shut down the platform. So they've exhausted their storage. They are now storing it on vessel, and the vessel is in different parts of the world. So we must begin to see other ways to generate effect, because like the data I just showed you, you can see that as of last year, more than 85% of the export of Nigeria was done via, also Nigeria was oil, dependent on oil. So we're saying largely dependent on oil. According to financial derivative, a second recession in 4 years is clearly on the card. In 2016, it was the incomplete and belated response to the oil price crash that was the trigger. In 2020, the trigger is COVID-19 and preemptive measures on the part of the Monetary and Fiscal Authority. Why more than likely not enough? We're more than likely not enough to start up the looming threat. 4 years ago, look at the difference between recession in 2016 and recession in 2020. We had 25 billion in foreign reserve. External debt was 11.26. We have buffer up to 14.5. With the buffer, we can easily defend Naira. Today, the buffer are down to 9 billion, as external debt has more than doubled to 26.94 billion. Why in reserve, rather? Though we have a higher reserve, 35.9, as at the report of this report by Financial Derivative. Now, between that, our buffer is now 9. Our debt is 26. Now, look at this. I am of the opinion that we don't have this 9 billion. You know why? You know why? You know why? if we net off the P&ID judgment debt, if we net it off, if that debt eventually crystallizes and we net it off, we don't have 9 billion. We practically don't really have enough right now. The impact of COVID-19 on the Nigerian economy has been three-dimensional. First is from the medical and healthcare perspective. The second is through the slowdown in trade, investment, and project finance, considering the fact that our largest and most important trading partner, China, largest import source origin, India, largest export destination, are on lockdown. And that was the challenge we have. The third is through the plunge in oil price. Look at this report from the FMDQ and CBN. Can you see the CBN intervention? Since this year, it has been growing. Since October, November, December, January, February, intervention of CBN has been growing to intervene, to be able to support and provide for those that are looking for FX. Other local sources, small. The foreign portfolio investment, can you see as nosedive, went down. But look at I&E window. This is where export proceed comes in. Investor and exporter inflow. This is where export proceed comes in. Can you see? This is where export proceed comes in. And the export proceed has been going down. And look at the foreign reserve going down. Now, all this is a sign to let us understand the fact that we need this more than ever before. But let's go back to our major discussion today. Our major discussion today is focused on what should be our primary preoccupation in the next 1 year. If you are going to trade in the next 1 year, if you are going to export in the next 1 year, what should be your focus if you are thinking of export? Global food shortage looms to rupture supply chain because of the pandemic. About 80% of the food consumed in the world depend on global food supply chain. Experts project food shortage in the month ahead, including famine in some parts of the world. Near universal lockdown in the world means farm produce cannot leave the farm. Food is not reaching people, and this creates hunger virus, while the food perish at the farm. So food are being thrown away, while shelves of grocery store are empty. Can you imagine? No worker to pick up the fruit, while strawberry on the farm. Vegetable shipment from Africa to Europe and fruit from South America to US have been disrupted. Shipping containers are hard to find because ports have a huge backlog of unclear containers. Fear of food shortage is making countries to cut back on food export. India and Vietnam have suspended export of rice. Russia, the largest wheat producer, suspended the export of processed wheat. Border closure is causing shortage of laborers to work on the farm, and there is going to be price hike for food. And so countries that depend heavily on food import are stockpiling. Nigeria is an advantage. We are likely agrarian economy. That is an advantage for us. It's an advantage because we can then begin to consider what to export. From the introduction, you know already the product you should be focusing on, which is where the strength of Nigeria lies. What should we be focusing on? Fast-moving consumer good and food export. And where should be the market? I'm going to show you very, very shortly where those markets should be. Now, who are the gainers and losers of COVID-19? Potential winners, medical supplies. So anybody thinking of export, medical supplies, food processing, personal health care, ICT, e-commerce, agriculture. Oil and gas is having potential winners and potential losers. Education, financial services, manufacturing, construction, automobile, aviation sector, tourism are major losers.